couple announcements that we'd like to make. Number one, this program is possible because of the generous support provided by the Carnegie Corporation of New York. We actually applied for an exclusive grant, and we're very lucky to have been awarded that grant. I would like to thank our community partner for this event, NEPOC, the Network of Iranian American Professionals of Orange County. Nora Valenzuela, the former president of NEPOC, and one of our executive board members is here. Also, thank you to our corporate members, the Allergan Foundation, Brandman University, Disneyland Resorts, R&D Medical Products. Dave Sheraton is the president of that company, and VQ OrthoCare. Also, thank you to our student sponsors, Bruce and Carol Ellenbeck. And we are very pleased to welcome students from Cal State Long Beach, Corona Del Mar High School, Santa Margarita Catholic High School, and Tustin High School here this evening. We have some special guests from UCI who are going to share some of their experiences traveling to the Middle East recently. So we'll probably start our program around 7:40, which is 5 or 10 minutes earlier than usual. Well, this group, it's a group of students from UCI, just recently traveled to the Middle East, where they researched the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. They just returned about a week and a half ago, and we're very, very fortunate to have both the director of the program and 3 students here tonight. They're going to speak for a few minutes about some of their experiences in Israel, and they visited Jordan and various other areas. I'd like to welcome the director of the UCI Olive Tree Initiative, Dr. Daniel Werenfeld. Also students, Matthew El-Menagi, Zain Zaidi, and Frank Williams. Please welcome them to the stage.
Thank you so much for this introduction, Mike. It's an honor for us to be here. We have heard obviously a lot about the World Affairs Council. Many of our faculty, I'm a faculty now at UC Irvine. I think are members of the group. Hal Smith, a dear board member, and really excited to always share about your wonderful programming. I really appreciate all the good work you're doing. Really excited about tonight's speaker, so can't wait to hear more about this very important and timely topic to discuss. Just to add a couple sentences, why the Olive Tree Initiative, what does it matter? This got founded in 2007 at this campus here, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with the UC Irvine or UC campus policies. The campuses are great. I can say that as a German, I love activism. There's a lot of student activism. A lot of student activism, and when it comes to, especially to the topic of the Middle East, is very much polarized and very challenging at times, as it's really more about scoring points and really moving forward about actually the topic or thinking about solutions for this conflict. It has to do mainly with one thing, and that is that a lot of people on our campus, despite having family contacts or experiences to the Middle East, have not really been there lately, and only have seen, or maybe have only seen a certain perspective of things. So there's a certain disconnect, I think, that we can all acknowledge, many of us have, being in the US in general, from things around the world, I think when it comes to the Israeli-Palestinian or Israeli-Arab conflict in particular. So 2008, we founded the organization, the Olive Tree Initiative. We traveled with different student leaders coming from self-identified pro-Israeli or pro-Palestinian perspective and others to the Middle East for about 3 weeks. And since then we have done this annually. We're seeing about 80 speakers. We also stopped in Washington, D.C., seeing our main diplomats, meeting with the State Department, get a better American perspective of the Middle East. And the idea is really to engage in what we call experiential learning, to hear from people on the ground. We're not there to challenge them and their perspective. I think it's not up to us, to really tell them what they have to think, but to learn what they have to say and really see how the realities on the ground are much more complex, intriguing, fascinating, troublesome, and certainly challenging than the realities that we know about here, or we very often hear in the media. So we come, listen to the speakers, and then we come back and present what we heard, what we found out to our community on the campus and the community here. So we always appreciate having the chance to come into places like the World Affairs Council and other areas and places that really are interested in what's going out there. So we started with the Middle East, we expanded to the Turkey and Armenia, relations. So you see, I don't say conflict, and you can ask me about that. It's, I have to be very particular with that. And we just came back from 2 trips this summer to the Middle East. And we have 9 campus chapters now, 6 in the UC system, from Berkeley to UCLA, Santa Barbara, Santa Cruz, San Diego, LA, then Stanford, and 2 Cal States in San Jose and in Cal State, San Diego State, are also part of chapters. They're expanding to the East Coast and internationally. So it's a lot to talk about. This Thursday at 6 o'clock, we would like to invite you to come to the UC Irvine campus. I know it's close by, but it's another world. There's an open presentation about all the students that just came back from this trip, talking about their experiences. And I want to invite 3 of them quickly up here to share a little bit who they are and what they experienced in the Middle East and why they think it was worthwhile spending 3 weeks, 80 speakers in a crazy no-sleep time to do that, and why they're involved in something like that.
Hi everyone, my name is Matthew Omaragi. I'm a 4th year political science and criminology major at UCI. I just want to thank you guys all for having us here to speak to you about our experience. So if I could just give you a little recap of my trip and how it relates to me as a person. I'm a Coptic Orthodox Christian, I'm Egyptian, and for those of you that don't know, the Coptic Orthodox Christians are the minority Christians in the Middle East. And for me, just as Daniel had said, I had never been to this particular region. I had been to Egypt before, but never to Israel or the Palestinian territories where there are Coptic churches. So for me, it was just overcoming my own personal biases, learning about what minorities have, what part they play in the conflict, how relevant they are. And like I said, just really getting past my own personal biases that I have as a Copt and that we experience in the Coptic culture. So I don't want to take up too much time, but that's pretty much the gist of my trip. So thank you again.
Good evening. My name is Zain Zaidi. I'm a 4th year at UC Irvine studying political science and political media studies. I'll just kind of like give you guys like a brief status quo with the situation right now that we experience. Generally, there's a sense of pessimism and stagnancy in the region where like the Israelis and Palestinians aren't really moving forward with a peace process. The Israelis have their own internal issues and international issues with Iran, and the neighboring Arab countries. The Palestinians have their own internal issues with the economy, dismantling the PA, and like starting new, dismantling whatever they have right now to start to come with like a fresh slate to the relations with Israel again. And generally, there's been a lot of in the past decades, there's been a lot of international support from neighboring Arab countries, the U.S. obviously, but even those parties haven't really moved forward with this conflict. The United States, for example, is too involved in the 2012 presidential elections that are coming up, and their own domestic international issues. And the Arab countries obviously are in their own turmoil, and obviously the Arab Spring. Countries like Egypt and Syria are very tense right now with what's going on over there. We did go to Jordan though, and Jordan is really only involved in handling what to do, deciding what to do with the Palestinian refugees that are coming into their country. They're not like involved in the peace process at all. So there's just like that general sense of stagnancy. People are just kind of like don't really like. There's a sense of care and awareness about the situation, but there's no real urgency to make a move at this point in time. Even the civilians, for example, that we visited in Bethlehem, they were just trying to have fun, really. I mean, they were trying to enjoy their time right now. Like, there's no violence per se. At this point in time, it's been the most peaceful status quo that's been over the past decades, obviously with the first and second intifada. But generally, like, there is still ongoing violence from Israel and Gaza especially, but it's just been normalized, really. Like, there's a sense of normalcy, and like, it's not a permanent status quo, but it's just temporary, but people are okay with it because they don't really want to go back to the way things were when it was really violent. That's just a brief status quo. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bryce Williams. I'm a 4th year international studies and political science double major. I actually also am trying to minor in information computer science, trying to learn, the other side. But I come from a different background than a lot of my colleagues. I'm actually a Cuban Mexican, and I have really no reason to get involved in the Middle East. But the thing is, my family always, they joke around with me telling me, hey, if you want to see conflict, we'll take you home. My family's from Mexico, so we'll take you around the border real quick. You don't have to pay for a plane ticket. So kind of giving you what I took away from this trip and kind of my perspective is that I come from a business background and I love the politics, and not only that, I see the pragmatic approach. And I see this Palestinian conflict, and I see the economics, and not only that, the need for the discussion for economics and technology. As many of you guys know, there's a lot of new innovations occurring in our markets, and not only that, it's definitely making our lives a lot easier. And I came to the region trying to see pragmatic ways to fix certain issues. And I definitely saw pros and cons on both sides and how they can and cannot work together. One thing I would like to point out is for those who have not heard of Bolourchi is actually a development project occurring in the West Bank that is revolutionizing the perspective of how developments can really be done in the West Bank. There's discussions about how the West Bank cannot have any type of economic development because of the occupation. And it is amazing to go to the region and see the people, especially specifically the Masri family. This individual, Bashar Masri, is a real well-known businessman in the region, and his group and also other investors have put together $500 million to develop this this housing development that's going to house 40,000 Palestinians. And what they're trying to do is, in essence, have I would say it's like building another Irvine, to kind of give everybody a perspective. They're trying to build a new city, trying to give everybody a whole modernized home, modernized homes. Kind of going back to my main point, the thing is they're trying to develop something that's revolutionary to the region. And it's amazing to see that perspective. It's amazing to see what many say here at home that it's not possible. It's actually being done right before our eyes today. And it's an inspiration, and thank OTI and everybody for helping make this happen. And thank you for letting me come speak about it.
For your questions, please write them on the white cards that you have at your table. At the end of his speech, our trustee and executive board member, Nora Valenzuela, will ask questions. Our keynote speaker this evening is Dr. Nader Hashimi. Dr. Hashimi is the director of the Center for Middle East Studies and an assistant professor of Middle East and Islamic politics at the Joseph Corville School of International Studies at the University of Denver.
The World Affairs Council has a new chairperson, Dr. Mike Mudian. I'm pleased to have him here, and he's going to give us a little brief on the World Affairs Council objective and its plan.
Sure. Well, thank you, Mr. Bolourchi, for covering our event tonight. I love your show on the internet. It's one of the best shows, one of the best web shows here in Orange County. But yes, I'm very, very pleased to begin my term as chairman of the World Affairs Council. The World Affairs Council of Orange County, of course, has existed for 45 years. We had a very successful year under the leadership of Mr. Serge Tomassian. And one of my primary objectives over the next 12 months is to continue the good work that Serge has done and continue the vision and the goals that have been established. We're looking to have a very successful holiday gala in December, and then in February we are looking to have a very successful Academic World Quest event. I know you were at our Academic World Quest last year, and we are going to invite all of the high schools in Orange County to come to Chapman University and engage in this intense academic competition, and the winning team will go to Washington, D.C. So we're looking forward to a very big year.
I have been covering the World Affairs Council meeting for a few years at least.
Yes.
And I have noticed, I really can see the impact that the World Affairs Council try to educate and bring people up to date what's going on in the world stage. So would you please comment on that one, that the impact that you feel, how it's going to be, how is that affecting?
Absolutely. Our goal, the whole purpose of our society is to educate. And we bring Orange County to the world and the world to Orange County. So we have various speakers representing various perspectives on international relations, on global trade, on the role of energy, on the Arab Spring. And this is an open society, so there are no limitations in terms of the speakers we bring on board. We have speakers from all walks of life, representing all perspectives, and our members come from all walks of life. We have business leaders, academics, we have nonprofit leaders, students, we have veteran members, we have very young members. So that's the virtue of the World Affairs Council. We're an open society. This is really, to put it another way, this is the practice of democracy, where we have these noteworthy speakers address us every month, and we're able to engage them during a Q&A session and exchange ideas, and that is really our contribution to Orange County.
For people who maybe are not familiar with the World Affairs Council, would you please tell us how they can contact you and how they can become a member?
Absolutely. You can go to the World Affairs Council of Orange County website, which is www.worldaffairscouncil.org. We have various levels of membership. The lowest level of membership is not expensive. It's less than $100 for an entire year. And then we have various events throughout the year. Each month we usually have a dinner event. Next month, November, we're going to have a film screening by a prominent UCI economist, and that film screening is called Death by China. So go to our website, worldaffairscouncil.org. You can learn all about our membership opportunities, and I encourage you to join us. You won't regret it.
Also, I have to mention you can see other video of the other sessions of the World Affairs Council that we covered on the World Affairs Council website.